When we sent out stimulus checks to save our economy, $1.6 billion went to dead people. And the checks were cashed, obviously fraud. OMB has estimated that in fiscal year 2023, we sent out $1.3 billion of checks to dead people, which were cashed, obviously fraud. Will you help us make that program permanent so we can stop paying dead people?
Yes, Senator.
Senator John Kennedy exposes the mind-blowing truth behind billions in government waste. $1.6 billion in checks sent to dead people, and that's just the beginning. In this heated exchange, Kennedy presses a Trump OMB nominee Russell Vought on fraud, bloated agencies, and how Washington's broken system is punishing working Americans. In a jaw-dropping moment on Capitol Hill, Senator John Kennedy once again put the federal government on blast, this time over $1.6 billion in stimulus checks sent to dead people. Yes, you heard that right, dead people. And what's worse, many of those checks were actually cashed. So stay tuned and let's dive right in.
I hope you'll start with the low-hanging fruit. There's a lot. When we sent out stimulus checks to save our economy, $1.6 billion went to dead people. And the checks were cashed, obviously fraud. OMB has estimated that in fiscal year 2023, we sent out $1.3 billion of checks to dead people, which were cashed, obviously fraud. When you die in America, your name is sent to the Social Security Administration. As you know, you become part of the master death file. Senator Carper and I discovered that Social Security would not share that information with any other department of government. So we passed a bill saying you have to share it with Treasury and other people who write checks, so we'll stop paying dead people. Duh. We got pushback, believe it or not, on the bill. We had to agree to a trial period, and that trial period ends in 2026. Will you help us make that program permanent so we can stop paying dead people?
Yes, Senator.
Now, you served in Washington for years. You're going to be challenging the status quo. You're going to be called crazy. Many people also called Noah crazy. And then the rains came. And all the fact checkers died. You have to persevere. Now, I'm not asking you to get ahead of President Trump. But if you were king for a day, tell me how you would save money in the federal budget without impacting the American people.
Thank you, Senator. I think it's the strategy that we had in the first term, which is to go really and take a very close look at the agencies that are spending and wasting money, and I believe weaponized at times against the American people. When they put a 77-year-old Navy veteran in jail, Joe Robertson, for 18 months for building 4 ponds on his ranch to be prepared for wildfires, that's the EPA. I think we have to look at that, and we have to look at the agencies that Congress has a vote on every single year through the appropriations process. And then I think we need to go after the mandatory programs that Senator Cornyn mentioned that are keeping people out of the workforce because they have become not just a social safety net, but they have become a benefit hammock, and increasingly so in the aftermath of COVID, as many of these policies were impacting people's decisions to go back into the workforce. And I believe, and because we produced budgets along these lines, you can get sizable levels of savings and reforms that can lead to a balanced budget and get us back headed in a fiscal trajectory, not only that we would all be proud of, but we could say this is going to keep us from fiscal ruin.
My time's expired. Ella Porter, do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay. Now's your shot. Thank you, Mr. Vogt, for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good call there, young lady.
Senator John Kennedy's relentless questioning wasn't just a viral moment, it was a masterclass in common sense governance. At a time when Washington is drowning in red tape, bureaucracy, and bloated spending, Kennedy continues to do what few others are willing to: speak plainly, ask real questions, and demand actual accountability. The facts are staggering. Over $1.6 billion of your taxpayer dollars went to people who are no longer alive. That's not just a clerical error, that's an institutional failure. And yet, instead of fast-tracking solutions, Washington politicians and bureaucrats pushed back on even the simplest fix: sharing death records between agencies. But Kennedy didn't back down. He highlighted what every American already knows in their gut: that this isn't about party politics, it's about responsibility. When you're spending the hard-earned money of working families, farmers, veterans, and business owners, every dollar counts. And when that money is wasted on fraud, incompetence, or political gamesmanship, someone needs to be held accountable. Kennedy also did what so few do in the halls of power. He offered a clear roadmap. He challenged Russell Vought not just to defend past performance, but to dream bigger. To imagine what America could be if we cut the fat, stopped weaponizing federal agencies, reformed programs that trap people in poverty, and rewrote budgets not for headlines, but for future generations. And most importantly, Kennedy did it with the kind of grit and wit that has made him a standout voice in Congress. His message was as sharp as it was honest. Many called Noah crazy, and then the rains came. That wasn't a joke. That was a warning. America doesn't need more empty slogans. We need leaders who will fight the fraud, face the facts, and fix the system. Kennedy is proving once again that he's ready to lead that charge. So the next time someone asks where all the money went, remember this hearing. Remember that Kennedy asked the question first and didn't stop until he got answers. Subscribe now for more unfiltered moments, breakdowns, and bold truths Washington doesn't want you to hear.